bumps? Like that from the engine? Like that small movement?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just gauging. See how we can have a high RPM and those bumps kind of dissipate out?
Okay.
That's why I like to keep it around that 11 to 1200 RPM range. You're still going to feel it, but you don't have as violent as shaking. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that can be numerous amount of things that's causing that. Probably just, constant use of the engine.
Okay.
But it's just something to keep aware. Always try to have that higher RPM. It's more of a final thing.
Okay.
Even though the checklist says 1000 for regular.
Okay. Radio, we need to activate our flight plan. Check that. Maintain 1200. As well. Okay. Parking brakes are our feet. Seatbelts, our shoulder harnesses are secure.
Do you know what's the parking brake?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Somebody asked me that they didn't know, so I had to making sure not everybody knows.
Cabin doors closed.
Yep.
And
Check.
okay. Flight controls are free and clear. Free and correct. Flight instruments we don't need to set. We got that, but we will set this to 5:30. Fuel quantity is still good. Mixture is rich. Air trim set takeoff, and let's check the magnetos. Bring it up to 1800. Alright, got a small drop. To the left, back up. More to the left, small drop. To the right, back up. And idle. Does not cut off. We don't have vacuum, so you don't have to check that. There's an awful lot of play in this throttle.
Are you tightening it? Or?
No, it's just
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean now by play.
okay. And strobe lights are on. Okay. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 984 Sierra Papa is back taxiing to 17 Redstone traffic.
do is hit that power button and then twist the knob. That's how you get that light,
Okay.
that brightness. one, we don't have to use the full. We can use the forced turnaround.
Okay, where's that?
Between the 2000 and 1000
Gotcha.
runway and more. Do you know what those numbers are here?
Yeah, that's a 1,000-foot marker, so there's 1,000 feet between here and there, so there are 4,000 feet to the end of the runway.
Yeah, so they're not, we treat them as 1,000-foot markers, but the proper name is runway end markers.
Okay.
So you're right, they're set at 1,000 feet, but they really are meant to show how much more you can keep going. It's past the 2,000 marker.
Okay.
But yeah, it's 1,000 feet, but the purpose of it is to show, if you're landing, how much runway you have left remaining. Looking.
Yeah.
First one's between the 2,000 and 1,000 footers. The last one is at the runway end. So, being a 172 on a nice winter day, probably don't need the full runway.
Probably could have taken off from Echo.
We found it. There is actually a tower. There is a legitimate instruction they could give you. I prefer not to use it just because you're essentially losing like half the runway. So I'm not a big fan of using Echo for takeoff. I say that, but I've done it once or twice, but that's with tower, and I know the performance of the plane. So, but here is always, well, if it's like a nice calm day, this is always good just to get out of everybody's way.
Okay, so for planning purposes, if we've got a loss of thrust on takeoff and we've still on the ground, we're going to shut it down.
Remember, 1,200 should be your rest. There you go.
If we are off the ground under 1,000 feet, we've got runway in front of us, we're going to put it down and taxi back. If we are above 1,000 feet, we're going to try to make our way back to the runway.
Okay.
Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 984 Sierra Papa departing 17 for departure to the northeast. Redstone traffic. And yield to the east. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk, control Papa, 7 miles to the northeast, about the landing runway 17 Redstone.
How much runway we used up. Just do your thing, fly the plane.
Yes. Oh, that's and we're looking for 1,300 feet so we can start our turn. Started acting up. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 984 Sierra Papa, left crosswind for 17, Redstone traffic. Redstone traffic, control Papa, we're inbound, picking up a left base over Bridge Street for runway 17. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is left downwind for 17, departing to the northeast, Redstone. Okay, Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 1 Charlie Papa, we're going to go ahead and pick up the long final for runway 17, Redstone traffic.
Give me a little bit more to the right.
To the right?
Yep.
I'm looking for him, I don't see him.
There he is. Keep climbing.
Oh, I see him.
Yep, I see him. You want to let him know
What was that again?
Rest of traffic 9840 Papa is pulling out to the northeast. We have the traffic on final inside. Rest of traffic. You don't have to know.
Rest of traffic.
Keep climbing.
Control Papa, left base runway 17, full stop Redstone.
Okay, so when we pass him...
Keep climbing up to 2,000.
Okay, I was going to say when...
Just keep climbing because altitude's our friend. Yeah, you don't have to know who they are. You can just say, hey, traffic on final.
Gotcha.
Because it's kind of understood because he described himself as being on final. Takeoff brief is fine. I always recommend do the takeoff brief before you enter the runway because you saw how long we sat there while you did the brief.
Okay.
Somebody else obviously is a lot calmer, but somebody else could be behind us. And you just never want to be on that runway if you can minimize it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Just always get out safest places away from the runway.
Okay.
When you're ready, you can switch us over and just
switch over.
And just VFR in the northeast practice area.
Huntsville approach Skyhawk 984 Sierra Papa off of Redstone at 2,000 feet.
984 Sierra Papa.
Yes, sir. We'd like to go VFR to the northeast practice area.
4 Sierra Papa, squad 0135.
0135 for 4 Sierra Papa.
The new climb was up to 2,500 now.
4 Sierra Papa, contact you miles northeast of Redstone, maintain VFR in the northeast practice area. If you got company 8 miles north of you, 3.8 curve.
Roger, we'll look for that traffic. 4 Sierra Papa. And put the cowling on the horizon. At 10 degrees.
There's 3 Mike Whiskey, contact Cisco 120.8. 120.8, 3 Mike Whiskey, today.
start at 3,400. You start to bring the power back. You may have thought, like, you probably would, you start pushing the nose down, but I saw the hand for the power more. But just take note that just lower, make sure you gain that speed. You're also 100 above.
Yep. Let's pull some power out.
Yeah.
Get back down.
When you're ready, we'll do a clearing towards your discretion.
Okay. right. I don't see anything right now. And we will turn 90 degrees to the left. Still looking.
And you want me to look to the left or to the right?
To the right. What did I
You
say
said,
left?
yep, keep close tower.
Oh, me. I blame the cold weather.
Just take your time, remember. I mean, technically you don't have to go directly, you can just say start the scan.
Okay, now we'll turn 90 degrees to the north.
Watch out. Watch out.
Got it.
Remember, you only allow plus or minus 100, so...
Even if we're clear for anything?
Yep.
Okay.
Whatever altitude you decide, you have to hold within plus or minus 100. Maneuvers that involve altitude change are a little bit different, but like if you're trying to maintain straight level, which is what clearing tone should be,
Okay.
you should not be descending more than 100 or climbing above 100. So most of them have steep tones, you have to keep it within 100.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do a steep turn to the left.
Okay.
And then a steep turn to the right. We are at 3,500 feet. We are at 360.
What's going to be your visual marker?
Maybe that flashing light there.
You want it in the bottom left?
That's kind of close.
Yeah.
Tower now 127.6.
There's a light out there, but I don't know if I'd be able to see it again. I was just looking at the
Yeah, but it's always...
that field right there.
Okay, there you go. It's always good to have a visual to back that up because you're looking outside more than you are inside.
Okay, so here we go. We'll bump a little bit of power in. Roll.
Hold that red button as well for me. Keep the autopilot from engaging.
Still not there yet. There we go.
Remember, talk your way through. Kind of just check what you're looking at. How you think you're feeling.
We're 180. And we're 90. We'll start to bring it back around. No, we're still too early. 257, level 6,000 clear. Now we'll start to bring it back around.
Remember, we started thinking about utility before, right?
30 miles, and we also
Let me ask you this. What's the objective of a speed tool? What are you trying to maintain?
I'm sorry, one more time.
What are you trying to maintain in the speed
You know where you
tool?
want to start your time.
Altitude, coordination, and banking.
Full of eyes and close things, 1 left.
Technically, no. You're actually holding a steady airspeed, but you accomplish that while changing those bank angles in that tone. So the actual maneuver is seeing if you can control that speed, but all those other things that you mentioned affect that speed. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So the key thing is, speed is a factor. So like when we started it, you were around 115, and you held that pretty good, plus or minus 1 or 2 knots, which is good.
Okay.
The biggest thing is, remember how I said visual? You said 90, and you started taking it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Here's a trick.
488 here, Bravo has full departure.
You have a heading bug you can use.
Turn right,
Right.
to the navigation to
What do you think we can put this heading bug?
If we're going to turn to the left, it would be about 33.
Okay, let's say, just make it toward you so it's nice and round, right? Let's do that one to the left again, okay?
Okay.
And maintain 3,500.
All right, let's get up to 3,500.
And remember, just be mindful that as you pull that power back, make sure you're being vigilant on those controls because you may relax your hand too much. That's why we kind of started dropping.
Okay.
So just gotta make sure, keep that nose where you need it, keep that pressure up, and then relieve it.
Okay, 3,500.
So remember, once you see that ball code, that's your cue, right?
Okay.
When you're ready.
And to the left.
Hold that red button. It just stops the autopilot from engaging if we don't want it to.
Yes. didn't feel it that time, but I know the bump you're talking about.
Okay, cool. So now let's do one to the right. If you want to use that heading bug trick, what should you do before you...
Oh, we'll switch the heading bug to the other side.
Okay. Just remind yourself to hold that red button so the autopilot doesn't engage.
Yeah, well, it's cold and it's hurt my hand. Can we turn the heat on, please?
Oh, yep, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, I think that's as much as I'm going to get out. You're good.
Alright. And we're going to go to the brakes.
I thought my hotness would be enough.
Ow. That hurt my head.
Oh, I said that the wrong time.
And we're coordinated. We're not losing. We're through 180. We're through 270. No, 270. And oh, we lost too much outside.
Yep. And you busted through your heading.
93257,
Yeah.
maintain 4000.
Reset.
Well, let's give you right now from my
Yep.
FBA.
Yeah, back to the north. Remember,
Okay, so how did I lose altitude then?
you didn't hold that back pressure up.
Okay. I'll buy that.
Probably because it's a only time joke. But yes, on that north heading.
Alright, we'll blame that then.
Yeah, north.
93257, plotting Q40 back to drive left, runway 18 left.
2460.
So, remember,
93257,
tone,
340,
pitch, power,
340.
set, and then hold that and just keep an eye out, right? Because what happens if you start descending? What should you do?
You start descending,
Yeah, you start seeing that nose get below the horizon.
pull back.
There
a little
you go,
bit,
right?
add back pressure.
Add that back pressure. So let's try that again.
Okay. Okay. Right here, a little bit of power.
448, here, wrong
Roll.
rear, first search, 1 VFR, continue first. Yep. Listing 243, House Foot apart, get rid of contact, maintain 10,
The ones that you're getting
10,000.
60 degrees.
Turn left,
bang.
heading 150, back to ground, strict
Remember,
area.
it's the one in between. It's the one in between these two. This is 60 degrees.
This is 60,
That
okay.
was 45.
270, less.
There we go.
That was the other one now. And looking for 360. And roll out.
Almost just went a little bit past, but
But within 10 though.
yeah, you're within 10.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Obviously, you felt the weight.
Yeah.
Give me a right turn heading. Actually, make a left turn heading 180.
Left turn 180.
Yep. You want to do another set of those, or you think?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Adjust your bug as you see fit.
Okay.
But yeah, so you felt that bump. That's
Yeah.
good. And then remember, just gotta keep that eye out. That Marco is technically, I have it set up with told these I was a little bit earlier than you would, but you seem to be kind of catching it just a little bit past and then getting lined up pretty much on time. Just keep an eye out, right? Keep that scan going. That's why we like those visual points.
Now, question. Should the rollout be abrupt or just a slow rollout? Because
What's your altitude? The rollout doesn't. Ideally, it should be smooth, right? Like you shouldn't be whipping it, right? Like you shouldn't be here and you're doing that, right? Like it shouldn't be like that.
Okay.
It should. What it should really be is a gradual tone, and then you feel the plane kind of bring its own, and then you stop it, right?
Okay.
If you want me to demonstrate, I can. But
Sure.
okay,
I'm always up for a demonstration.
Cool.
It looks better on the camera.
cool. Okay, so.
Can you make sure my feet are out the way?
Yep. So I'm going 180, right?
Yes.
I'm going to use the lights straight ahead
Okay.
as my reference, right? A little bit of turn, but that's fine. Let me get back to Toy 500.
Good night.
Okay.
Left track volunteer.
Okay, we'll go to the left and I'll do one to the right, okay?
Okay.
So, Malt 102, 3500, south heading, one to the left. Now you will see with me, I tend not to add power, and that's because of my Cherokee days.
Okay.
But that's fine because all I do is just play with the pedals. But you can feel how much back pressure you can kind of sense how much pressure I'm adding, right?
Yes.
So without adding power, I just muscle it myself. That's why I tend to climb a little bit more. And then I'm just dancing on those pedals, looking outside. I see the lights now, but they're still at the edge. So now here they come, and then see how it's kind of more of a gradual tone out.
Yes.
But here's the reason why that is. Let me actually do one to the right, okay?
Okay.
So one to the right, because this is how we do it for commercial. It's just straight into the next one. So one to the right, there we go. Still dancing on those pedals. Still looking outside, and you're noticing I'm not using power, and you don't have to. It's just a habit that I've developed from my Cherokee days for if you wanted to retrim, and then power is a lot more annoying to adjust. So it's just easier for me, for my training, to muscle my way through this, which there's nothing really wrong with either technique. So I just keep it, but what I'm doing is I'm looking outside and then quickly checking inside.
Okay.
Looking outside, checking, because you see I'm getting a little bit low, so I can pinch that nose. But now here comes my point. I see those lights. And here's the beauty about when you do it as slow as you start like that. You can speed it up to catch it. So remember, it's similar. Well, I start initiating the rollout, but if I say like, oh, I'm coming in, I'm leveling out too fast, I can just slow down that rate.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going too slow, I can speed it up.
Okay.
So it's similar to how, remember how I taught you is you start out the tone, or I'm trying to remember the maneuver. When you're doing your bass tone, or your downwind to bass to final, you always initiate the tone, but you can always play with it as you're toning to make sure that you actually hit your point. Okay. That's what it's practicing.
Okay.
Now, could I use power? Yeah, it will keep my speed up pretty good. And really by speed, it really is gauging ground speed, because it's based on speed. Max kind of critiqued me on one of my training sessions. For that, there is a speed-based maneuver. But if you maintain those, you don't have to worry about your speed.
Okay.
The trick is though, you gotta develop that scanning, right? And really, I'm still majority outside, but just taking quick peeks inside to see where I am. And then once I see that light, then I know I'm getting close to that range. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, you have control?
I have the control.
You have control?
I have.
Ready for another set?
Okay, I didn't press the button. Okay. Yes, we'll do another save.
And I think for this one, some plays are different. I think 91 Fox has it more. You may not have to hold the button for this.
Okay.
But whenever you hear it, if you hear a beep, it'll be the autopilot activating level.
Okay.
So I don't think, but you don't have to hold it, but as soon as you hear that, just hit that and it'll disengage it, okay? Because I think 91 Fox has a really bad habit where you're doing a steep tone, it will activate the autopilot and kind of like force you back, which is really awkward. Same thing for slow flight. So just be ready to push that button when you need to.
Okay, so we're at 3,500. Bring the power back to 22. And we are going to do a slow turn to the left, followed by one to the right. Got this road here in front of me. I've got the lights, and that light way out in the distance.
Okay.
I think. So let's start our turn.
think the one to the left, you said 150. You really meant 210.
Yes.
But I figured that's what. Just remember, have to make note because the examiner may not. Oh, you think you're 150? That's a fail because it'll be a pass if you do a drop, right?
Oh, okay.
So just be careful. Okay.
Blue Street 53, 68 Huntsville towards
Let's do some touch and goes at Redstone.
18 left or right.
Okay.
Just because it's a little bit, the sun's too low to really get any beneficial slope flight.
And we'll take the visual to 18 right tonight, Blue Street 5368.
So we can get
368 right. Expect that.
direct. Where's the direct button? Direct.
There you go.
All right.
You just put it that pocket on the left side.
For some reason, putting it down there seems to make it turn off. I don't know why. And I guess one of these days I'll just go ahead and get a keyboard.
Some people like it, others it gets in the way. When it came to tablets, I never liked the keyboard tablet. Me personally, because I like my tablet. This is because my instrument needs to be right here when I use it, and then that's why you see with me, I just tuck it away all the time. Everybody has their preference, of course, so, but just some consideration. And you can also let them know that we're making our way back to Redstone.
Okay. Huntsville approach, Skyhawk 984 Sierra Papa. We're going to make our way back to Redstone right now.
Skyhawk 984 Sierra Papa, Roger. Redstone tower is closed and restricted area Alpha is active. Make clear.
Roger, that tower's closed and restricted area Alpha is active. Okay. I've got the... I can't think. I've got the rocket here. I've got the road there. So my runway should be somewhere. I've got the light.
Okay. Do what you need to do. Okay. Begin your descent when you think you need to.
I got a question for you. For your headset, do you get a big fidelity difference other than wearing these base ones?
So, my first headset I ever used was technically the Bose, but I didn't recognize it at that time, but I also used David Claw,
957 turn left.
which is pretty similar to those. The biggest thing, have you ever messed with noise cancelling?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the difference, right?
Yes.
It definitely drowns out the hum, like that generic engine hum that you will always hear. It definitely drowns that out, and at least for me, it makes radio comm a lot easier because you know how the active noise cancelling works.
I have an idea.
Okay, so like the engine, right? And you can tell me to shut up when you need to. So you know what a sound wave looks like, right? Well, what's happening is when it goes into the headset, it goes in, and then the headset is able to read that. And then with a diaphragm, the noise will still get through because it can go through that, right? But what it does is there's a speaker in here that essentially makes a second sound that is 180 degrees flipped of the engine sound.
Yeah.
So it just drones it out. So to all ears, it doesn't sound like anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what the active noise cancelling is. Yours is just passive noise cancelling. Well,
Heading vector is 18 right, Blue Street.
it's more of a muffle,
Yeah.
which has the same effect, it's just not as crisp as this. For me, if I was only flying ever so often, like I don't know how much you tend to fly once you're private, but if I'm only flying in a few hours, probably a Bose is not really worth it.
Roger, you can expect.
But if you're like me, well, like I'm flying more days, I can be flying day after day.
Localizer runway 18 right.
Then yeah, it's worth
Ask
it.
Tower for the circle instructions and how this course terminates.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now, now David Clark. So the Bose is like $1,000.
Yes.
It's 1,100 if you want that noise
3,000 or
Bluetooth. David Clark, I think, has a new, because somebody bought one, has a active noise canceling. I think it's only $800 or $900. Which, you know.
Yeah, well, my thing was just the noise, because sometimes I just have a hard time hearing because the
clear for the Atlas runway 1.
You have the engine noise.
they're either mumbling,
Yeah.
you know, they're either mumbling or the it's really tinny.
Yeah.
You know?
Which, the only other way to do that for your headset is you crank up the volume, which then just becomes annoying, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure for radio comm, I find like using A20s night and day difference. Because all you have is their volume, right? You don't have the engine noise affecting you.
Turn right heading.
It's still there. That's a big misconception that a lot of people have. The noise is still there. It's just being actively muffled out. So like when if the caveat is I have to have batteries for this, right? If I lose battery power, it becomes more like yours now.
Okay.
So you always have to have a battery with you.
Okay, again.
The other thing,
We're just letting you know we're established.
if you're going to spend that much, I went a little, well, correction, my mom went a little bit extra and got me the Bluetooth version so I can hook up my phone.
Turn right heading 360.
But I will say, I've been using these since 2022. No issue. Like standard wear and tear that you would expect, but like in terms of functionality, never had issues. They have lifetime warranty as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty. I enjoy it. Yeah. But yeah, no, but the thing is though, my flight school in Atlanta, when you rented out planes, they provided Bluetooth as a generic. But from my experience, but for me flying in Chicago, I didn't get the.
For now, can you fly heading of 140 vector to go behind traffic and not Huntsville?
Copy, turn left.
I didn't ever really touch, like I didn't have my own pill until I was past my commercial, about to do my CFI. So it's definitely more of a comfort thing rather than necessity. But like, because I know a lot of students that got it. The A20s and then they stopped flying.
An extended downwind for relative to Huntsville. You mean number 2 on regional jet stuff.
So you're like, okay, why bother?
Now.
Yeah.
So it's just, as with anything, you just gotta gauge what you're willing to expense. And like for me, it was like, hey, if I'm becoming an instructor, I'm gonna be an instructor. I'm gonna be flying as much as I can. Yeah, it just makes sense. The other benefit was because I became a flight test engineer, I can actually use these on my day job as well.
Manor 791 Foxtrot, we're doing navigation to Redstone. Thank you for that. And Redstone Tower is closed and restricted area Alpha is active 10,000.
Copy, proceed as inbound for November 979, 1 Fox, and copy all for traffic.
Do you have Redstone in sight?
Yeah. Huntsville approach, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa has Redstone in sight.
Squawk 94 Sierra Papa Verisur Smith, Squawk VFR, return to group today.
Squawk VFR, 4 Sierra Papa.
There's always going to be squawk VFR with frequency change.
So we can switch this. There we go. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa, 9 miles to the north of the field. We'll be going straight in for 17 Redstone traffic.
Good. You can give me, yeah. There we go.
There we go.
We'll do one touch and go, and then that should get us to the owl.
Okay.
May need to do a second one just in case. But okay. Do what you need to do. There's no demonstrating that being reminded by these lights now that it's becoming a little bit darker.
Okay.
And then let's try to do a soft field landing.
Soft field landing.
Yep. I won't make you do a short field since you can't really see the 1,000 photos at night. But we can at least try to do soft field landing.
Okay.
Do you feel confident for your check ride?
I think I feel as confident as I'm going to feel.
Cool.
I just knowing how I take tests. I want to know like everything, but there's just no way to know everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can tell you what I did on mine, and it will not be the same as yours.
Yeah.
The only thing is, no matter what he throws at you, the procedures that I've taught that we've discussed will always remain the same.
Okay.
Everybody messes up because they deviate from what they know they should be doing.
Okay.
One example is short field landing, right? They know they need to hit these points, but because it's a check ride, they're like, oh, I'm just going to leave that little bit of power in. Don't. Just treat Max as just another passenger.
Okay.
Because essentially that's what he is acting as. He is your fourth passenger. So don't do anything different. Even if it means you go slower, do it that way.
Okay.
Because you will much prefer that. Because if you have to remember, nobody has a perfect check ride. On my private check ride, I took off with another aircraft on the runway.
Oh my.
Yeah. And then during the oral, I mixed up category and class of aircraft during my instructor oral, right? You're never going to have a perfect check ride. But you're trying to, if there's one mentality you should go in though, is prove to Max.
Redstone Arsenal traffic, November 9791 Fox, 12 miles to the north, inbound for landing.
Prove to Max that you can be a safe, knowledgeable pilot.
Okay.
That's what the mentality you should go in as. Right? Now does that mean you don't study?
Just a second.
Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is 5 miles north of the field. Full stop for 17 Redstone traffic.
Correction, this will be a touch and go for 94 Sierra Papa.
Oh.
We'll do one touch and go and then full stop.
Okay.
Because it's still not considered nighttime.
Okay, so let's bring this back to about 20. We will add that first notch of flaps. Push that nose down.
Judging it makes it much more easier. Because I'm sure you can notice it's a little bit more clear now compared to when it was full on at 7, right?
Yes.
How are you looking?
Well, the Pappy say that I'm low, but I feel like I'm high.
Remember your night illusions.
Yeah. And,
Let's look how you're trending in terms of your descent.
$500.
500 feet.
500 feet. Let's add that last second notch of flaps.
If I failed you in DT, you can make the runway.
No.
So what does that indicate to you about the approach, high or low?
Probably low.
Yeah, that is an optical illusion for you. Because I just feel high.
Yep. So, yes, you're low. What you did was you started your approach at 4.5 miles out. You should really start at 3 miles. Traffic pattern at 3 miles out, and then descend at 500 feet per minute.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the black hole effect messing with you, because at night you lose your depth perception a lot. So if you're unsure, stay high.
Alright, now we're on.
There you go. Preston Travis Sky 99840 Papa, show final runway 17, touch and go, left close traffic, rest on traffic. Crosswind?
I thought I did.
Nope. Where's the wind coming from, left or right?
From the left. From the right.
Nope. Flaps up. It's coming from the left.
Oh, yeah. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is on the go for 17 for right close, for left close traffic for 17 Redstone traffic. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is left crosswind for 17. This will be a full stop Redstone.
Did you see how we kind of dropped? Do you know why that was?
Because we stalled.
So what does that mean you did during your flail?
Flared too much.
Not necessarily too much. You flared too high.
Okay.
What do you think caused that?
I don't know right now. Hold on just a second, please. Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is left downwind for 17. This will be a full stop Redstone.
We will...
I'm sorry, go ahead now.
Redstone traffic, November 9791 Fox is Bogey left base runway 17. Redstone, and we have traffic in sight.
Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 9840 Papa, we'll be following the traffic on left base for runway 17, Redstone traffic.
That's him right there, right?
Yep.
Okay. Make sure I'm seeing the right thing.
Yeah, but just keep flying.
Yeah, we'll extend it downwind.
Yep. I have control?
You have the control.
Just so that you can focus up. So, we stalled, right? That's why we kind of dropped, right? And I said that, I asked, what does that mean in your flail? You said that we flailed high, right?
No, I said we flared too much. You said we flared high.
Okay, so we didn't really flare that much. The night makes it look like we did.
Okay.
But we flared high.
Okay.
The reason that you flare high is because you're looking at those lights. Remember those lights sit about...
Redstone traffic, November 9791 Fox, 2 mile final, runway 17, Redstone.
Redstone traffic, 9840 Papa, extended left downwind, runway 17, has traffic in sight, Redstone traffic. Remember those lights sit about 6 to a foot above the ground, right?
Yeah.
So it gives you, if you're using that as the runway, it gives you a full perception of height. So you have to fight that and go below what you think it needs to be.
Okay.
And use the runway itself as your cue. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, you have control?
I have control.
You have control. So this would be a good reset. Once it's about 45 degrees behind us, we can go.
Okay.
And we got an hour. worry, I'm not as critical at night because night is its own beast in itself. But
Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is turning left base for 17 Redstone. We'll be number 2 from that traffic, Redstone.
so I'm not as critical just because it's night is a little bit harder, and I think it's been a while since you've really done a lot of night flying.
Yeah.
But just remember, those depth perceptions are going to throw you off, right?
Yes.
So you have to kind of fight through it. It takes time to develop that sense. Even me, you know, if I don't fly for night for so long, it kind of throws me off. It's like right now, it looks like we're really close to the runway.
Yes, it does.
But in reality, you can see we're almost 4 miles out, right? So you have to just kind of accept your depth perception is not accurate. And there's always Warsaw at Redstone because there's no other lights around it other than that highway, right?
Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is turning final for 17. Still number 2 for traffic, Redstone.
So here's what I want you to do. Get down to 1700.
Okay.
But do not descend until we're 3 miles out. Okay, so we're about 4 now. So this is kind of what we just did, right? So get us the traffic pattern was 17. And obviously get us lined up. Okay. So here's 17, you can start leveling off. And we're about 3.5 miles. So right now your gut's telling you you're high.
Yes.
But if we start now, we will end up low.
Yes.
3 miles, that's what, watch your altitude, see how you're getting low? Gotta be fast on that altitude, okay?
Oh, okay. Yes.
So just hold this altitude until I say begin your descent, okay?
Okay.
Because I gotta compensate for the fact that we're a little bit lower. Okay, now you can begin your descent.
Okay.
So just like we're in downwind, throttle back, pitch for the speed that you normally would, and then add that force knots of flaps.
Okay. Yeah, that is really...
And Jason, so how far back are you?
really low.
We're 2.5 miles straight in for runway 17.
Roll out 17 Alpha, 9% on Mark Chuck, done.
Yeah, you should have enough time to taxi the runway.
Roger, thanks.
So, once you're 2 miles out, treat it as your base leg. What do we do?
Okay. Gotcha.
What do? We pitch it up more, right? To slow down to around 75-ish, right? And then we get that second notch of flaps. And of course, you kind of saw how fast that climbed, right?
500.
But just keep that nose coming down, though, as best you can. Maybe have to take out a little bit more power. But you see how it's now starting to look like a regular traffic pattern?
Yes.
So now, my cue for this is 1 mile out, it's like your final, or really right after we cross this. So now we're over, now you can get, if you want, you can get your last notch of flaps in, or...
I'll keep this because we got that wind.
So, the wind's coming from the left, so dip that aileron, right rudder. Alright, so Travis got 90840 Papa's. 1 mile final, runway 17, full stop, and we have the traffic on the runway inside. But you see how doing it that way, keep that nose down. Keep that nose down, keep that. Remember, it looks high, you are going to be higher than it is. So keep that nose coming down, keep that nose coming down, keep that nose coming down. No, not yet, not yet. Not yet, keep that nose coming down. Now start. See how we can see the runway?
Yeah.
Now bring that nose to the end of the runway where those red lights are. See how much more smoother that was?
Yes.
Because you drove past these lights, right?
Gotcha.
Because you see, like, you can look, see how those lights are, you can tell that the lights are a little bit elevated, right?
Yes.
And they're only a couple inches, but they do play a big effect. The other thing that plays an effect is if you dim them down. So this is the other thing that I always can.
Restaurant traffic, number 9791.
This is what I recommend to people when you're coming in on final.
Restaurant traffic.
Like you saw, as soon as you lined up, you could see the runway, right? I would dim them to the lowest setting because it reduces that strength. Does that make sense? Because take note what they look now, right? Watch what happens when I do this. Do you see how brighter and more?
Yeah, the halos.
Exactly. And what is that? And do you see how this compared to?
The taxi white lights.
No. The strength of these, the runway edge lights. Do you see how they look like they're bigger and higher?
Yeah.
What does that do to you? It's like, oh, I'm going to be higher. I'm about to hit the runway, when really you're really high. That's why you want the dimmest setting that you can get away with.
Gotcha.
5 is standard at most big airports like Huntsville, but like this here, whenever it's uncontrolled, my procedure is 7 to find the airport, 5 when I'm in the pattern, 3 when I'm on final.
Okay.
Because then that 3 gives me the minimal amount of light that can affect me, so that I have the most minimal change in my perception.
Okay.
Because those higher settings, especially if I throw on 7 coming in the final, it will blind you and it will confuse you.
Okay.
Because it's the halo effect, as you mentioned, just blocks out those cues that we're used to, right?
Yeah.
Because during the day, we have a lot more cues to feed off that tells us, that kind of corrects a lot of that. Here we don't. And then you know when it gets better? It's when you decide to go instrument and do this at night in low visibility. Then it gets really fun.
Well, then you're spending most of your time inside, though.
That's what everybody thinks, but you still gotta find the runway to land.
Oh, yeah.
And all my, even though I have probably 75 some hours of like hood time and instrument time total, the only 2 hours that I've done legitimate instrument have all been low IMC night. Just because IMC is a tool to get in and out of a situation, not to get yourself into a situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you can announce I will clear of the runway.
Redstone traffic, Skyhawk 94 Sierra Papa is clear of 17 at Alpha, taxiing to the flying activity ramp, Redstone traffic.
So
Okay, I'm going to pull it behind them, then shut it off.
Actually, do the after landing checklist first.
Oh. After landing, we'll take the flaps up. We're there, we've done our calls, our strobes will come off. We'll take the nav lights off, we'll take the landing light off, keep the taxi light on. Alright.
Okay, now you can.
So I was going to say, I'm going to cross, shut it down, because we don't have to fill up.
No, we don't. We can go to one of the stands.
Okay.
So.
But I'm saying I'm just going to push it or pull it. Or do you want to taxi it in?
Nope, we will taxi it in because I am lazy and it is cold.
Okay, well, you taxi out. You got the controls.
I have control. Because it is way too cold after what we've just gone through to do any of that bullshit. I will be nice though. I will be nice though, Tim. Okay, I'm not an asshole. I will take the 4-door slot though.